All right, so this is going to be AEW Rampage, April 1st, 2022, with Miggy Reyes and Smoke and Moda.
What up?
All right, so the first match is the Young Bucks versus Top Flight. We have Nick Jackson and Dante Martin, who basically start off the match for like the first 90 seconds doing flips, where like every move that was done was countered by a flip. That was essentially it for the first 90 seconds. And the Bucks get the heat on Darius before he makes the hot tag, and then Dante gets his stuff in before he gets shut down. Top Flight hit a nice sequence of moves onto Nick Jackson. They get a two. Top Flight continues to double team Nick Jackson, and then Dante goes for the nosedive, which is basically his double springboard moonsault. But he gets shoved off by Matt Jackson, and then he lands into the barricade, and then he's basically out for the rest of the match, which was like re- basically like the final 2 minutes of the match he was out for. And then Darius, he did get like some of his moves in, but Nick Jackson counters one of them, and then Matt Jackson runs in, and then they quickly hit the BTE trigger to kind of like get the win out of nowhere. Like, I don't know, the BTE trigger kind of just it it didn't like set up or anything. It was literally just Matt Jackson runs in after like Nick Jackson like counters through a roll up, and then they hit BTE trigger for the win. Like it was very strange, I think.
Yeah, you did a really good job summarizing all that happened because it's such a fast-paced match throughout the entire time. And I guess because of that, maybe the ending seemed a bit more abrupt. But yeah, it just seemed like the BT trigger didn't really. There wasn't really like a setup for it.
Yeah. It was just kind of like, oh, BTE trigger, it's done. Like, okay.
They needed an ending, and there it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe something happened with Dante because like Dante just did not show up anymore after the match, and he was like kind of left on the outside.
Oh yeah, that could have been. I was just kind of assuming Dante's part because he was like so much of this match. He was just like, okay, it's breather time on the outside where the cameras can't see me, and that's where Darius took the pin. But maybe something did happen and they ended it a bit early or something.
I don't know. Well, then we have American Top Team, and then they do like their like more of their TMZ type of crap that like I don't really care about, and like really think that like I just don't like it. And then
It's
Sammy and
cringe.
Ty show up on the screen and they destroy his car, which is vandalism. And depending on the worth of the item that's getting vandalized, can be a potentially serious crime. So yeah, I mean,
This was not a fun segment. American Top Team kind of just has cringe commentary. Their jabs at the other people of AEW are stuff we have already heard so many times. And
this
for
is
some
not good.
for some reason they always save like the attitude era stuff. Like vandalizing a car is something you would like see like in a segment from like the late 90s of wrestling because they were being like edgy or something like destroying the car, you doing graffiti, and like we've seen this before, even done a little bit better, but seeing it now is just kind of like, sure, I guess this is how you could get a rematch as a face or something like that.
I don't like this. I
Like,
really don't like this.
I get
And
that
I just
Sky had a dirty win over Sammy, but I guess that like got Sammy so upset that he decided to take it out on Dan Lambert's car.
it was if
It's just
I'm
a
just gonna
bad.
be honest about this, like if I see it on my screen, it kind of just makes me want to turn it off because I don't want to watch it.
Yeah,
Like I'm not interested.
it
I
was
don't.
just going.
Like I don't think. like as much as I like Sammy's high flying wrestling stuff, like I just can't get myself into it. I just can't.
Same.
Like
It's not fun to
like
watch.
if this is the stuff that's gonna happen, like on the back, it's like I mean I said it previously. It's just like if this was what I wanted to watch, then I would just watch WWE because they do this shit all the time. Like and I watched AEW because I wanted more actual wrestling, more matches like this. I didn't want this type of crap because to me this is crap. Like
Same.
maybe to other people they really enjoy it and they like it a lot. And if you enjoy and you like it a lot, well, good for you. Like I'm glad you like it. But for me, this is crap. I don't like it. That's just it. Danhausen and Hook backstage. Danhausen cannot curse Hook. That was it. Okay.
That was
So
really random, but more appealing than the segment before it.
yeah, I guess I enjoyed this like way more than before. I mean, I both the one before I thought was crap. This one I thought was pointless.
Yeah.
So I guess it was just to get Hook on TV because they didn't have a match booked for him or something. House of Black versus Dark Order's Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and then Fuego del Sol, who's just there. So Stu and Buddy start off, and they just kind of trade with each other. Fuego tags himself in when Stu Grayson wanted to tag in Evil Uno, and Fuego just gets completely destroyed. Fuego then tags in Uno, and then Dark Order does get to do some of their combination moves before Brody King just puts an end to all of it. And then he does end up hitting like a dive onto Dark Order on the outside. Fuego's back in the ring, and he's in a 3v1 situation. But this time, Evoluno and Stu Grayson do pull out Brody King and Buddy Matthews, so it leaves Fuego in a one-on-one with Aleister Black. And Fuego does hit a really cool looking Poison Rana on him. And then he goes for his tornado DDT. So he springboards off the second rope to go for the move, and he just gets straight into like he jumped straight into Aleister Black's spinning heel kick. I don't know if he still calls that the Black Mass, but he got hit by Black's finisher, and then Fuego like he just folded like he was an accordion. Like he was just broken, and yeah, they House of Black won. It's exactly what you would expect, but like holy dude, Fuego took a nasty bump there, and he sold that like he just got
Uh,
murdered.
yeah. It was a fun match overall. I think House of Black looked pretty dominant. I guess more so in the beginning when they were taking out everyone and throwing them out of the ring.
Mhm.
And I mean, I thought the idea of like Fuego versus the three guys again was pretty funny. But I we got to see some pretty cool stuff with him and Malachi at the end. But yeah, Right Guys won, and I'm kind of surprised they even got that competitive between Malachi Black and Fuego.
I was the Poison Rana was very fun to look at.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, this was all right. It was what it should have been. Bucks promo, they were talking about themselves. FTR couldn't beat the Young Bucks, and they do accept the challenge, so they'll fight on Dynamite next week. And I just loved the whole part where Brandon Cutler is basically saying he's just like, "You guys were IWGP champions," and then Nick Jackson's just like, "That's true, but shut up, Brandon." And then he's like, "Oh, you guys forgot you're also PWG champions," and then just like he's got a point, but shut up, Brandon. Dude, I don't know why I find that funny.
everybody hates Brandon.
He's such a nerd, but I love him. All right, Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue, Owen Hart qualifier tournament match. Hayter basically taunts Sky Blue. and she managed to get some offense in before Jamie Hayter shut her down with a suplex into the corner. Sky Blue hit a really ugly looking crucifix bomb, and the match basically had Sky Blue hit some moves on Jamie Hayter, but she couldn't get the win from it. And then Hayter would hit like a big power move, and it was this cycle. I think it cycled like three times that this happened. Like you'd have Sky Blue hit a series of moves, two, and then Hater just hits a power move. Then Sky Blue hits another series of moves, gets a two, and then Hater a power move. Like that was just the whole sequence. And then the the ending sequence was Hater hits a superplex into a brainbuster into the Rainmaker for the win. The Rainmaker, for people that don't know, it's basically like a ripcord lariat. This is Kazuchika Okada's finisher, and he calls it the Rainmaker. So whenever I see it, I always just call it the Rainmaker. And I think a Rainmaker sounds way cooler than ripcord lariat, but that's what it is.
Yeah,
And Hater wins and qualifies. I mean, that's what you expect.
I mean, it's a fine match. Nothing really stood out except maybe the finish for it, the Brainbuster Rainmaker combo. But yeah, I mean, it was what it was. I guess I'm just
Yeah.
more happy to see like Hater in the ring.
You know, Sky Blue is from Chicago,
Yeah,
and I'm going to plug in a friend who he actually, because he wrestled in the same indie promotion as Sky Blue here in Chicago. Um, what was I forgot the Premier Pro Wrestling, I think is what it's called.
okay.
He wrestled with her on his name. I'll do his wrestling name is the American Beard. If anyone wants to pull up any videos of him, but Sky Blue also wrestled in the same thing, and then I talk with him sometimes, and it's just like, oh, see, Sky Blue is on AEW now. She made it big, but I just want to add that in. So, main event. This is probably what everyone was looking forward to. Keith Lee versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Your two big hosses. So they both attempt lockups, but they can't like really do it because they're both too big for each other,
They're too
and they
beefy.
the other too beefy for each other. Lee does send like they start like doing collisions into each other's, and like no one budges. But then I think they did like three or four before Keith Lee does get like this big like knock on him, and that ended up bumping Hobbs out of the ring, which was really cool to see. Hobbs does send Keith Lee into the ring post twice and then rams him into the barricade. So Hobbs basically just takes control um, for a bit before Keith Lee rallies. And then he does hit a really massive lariat onto Hobbs, which I always love myself a nice lariat, like I said. Keith Lee calls for energy to lift him up for the spirit bomb, and the commentators were confused because they had no idea what the hell he was doing. And then Excalibur finally noticed when Keith Lee like was going for the spirit bomb. He's just like, "Oh, Keith Lee was calling for energy for the spirit bomb." And I was like, "Yes, that's the whole thing." Like, come on, like they didn't, but they didn't know. So, and the spirit bomb gets countered into a back body drop by Hobbs. So like,
That
it's
was
like,
super impressive to see.
yeah, that's 350 pounds Hobbs is just throwing over his back. Like that was pretty insane. Hobbs then hits a power slam onto Lee. This one wasn't as good as the back body drop because I think back body drop needed way more power for this one. In this one, it's like Lee kind of like leans forward, which makes it easier for Hobbs to hit the power slam into it. And like the power slam was like if you've ever seen Randy Orton hit his side power slam, that was basically what Hobbs did here.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the back body drop was more impressive. Keith Lee finally gets his like throw into Hobbs. What do they call it? The Beal. He finally beals Hobbs and he tosses him across the ring. And then you hear Taz just like, I've never seen Hobbs get like thrown across the ring like that. I was just like, yeah, I mean Hobbs is a big dude. Like, what is he, 280 or something? Like
I think.
that is. guy's big, but like Keith Lee's 350, so um then he hits like a big headbutt onto Hobbs. Starks comes running down with a chair and it gets swatted out of his hand. Where Strickland comes out and he starts beating up Starks, and then Hobbs or Keith Lee turns around and Hobbs hits a giant spine buster, but there's no ref because he's distracted by Ricky Starks and Swerve Strickland on the outside, which I do not like distractions like this.
It was not needed.
It was not needed. And then they managed to get the ref back in, and then Keith Lee hits a really massive Big Bang catastrophe for the win.
Yeah,
And then after starts, he's cut open, and then he hits Swerve with the chair. Then he hits the Rochambeau through a table. And then Hobbs hits Keith Lee with the chair. They bring a table in, they set it up on the corner, and Hobbs ends up ramming Keith Lee through it. And that was Rampage. Good match, good main event. I
yeah,
liked
it
it.
was fun. I like how they ramped it up as it went along.
I hope to see more of it. I don't like distraction finishes. I really hate that. But I
Yeah,
mean, nothing I can do about it.
that was like
And
the
I,
one
I
downside.
understand they want to protect people, but you can't be protecting people like all the time. Like you can't just default to a distraction finish just to protect someone. Like someone eventually has to take a clean L. Like like it happens. Like a clean L does happen before. Like and as long as you keep the person strong, a clean L would not matter in the long run.
Yeah,
And it's like they've done. I don't know why they're just addicted to like
overbooking.
wouldn't say or they just really love distraction finishes now. I don't. I mean, I don't like it. I really don't.
Especially when it's this often. Like, I mean, like using it sparingly, yeah, but we see it like more than once a week. There's definitely a problem. Like, it shouldn't even be like once a week or anything like that, but here we're seeing it like on Dynamite and on Rampage. So it's like you guys are really overdoing it.
The thing with like these distraction finishes is like that like they're trying to set us like set up be they're trying to make it different in the way that they're they're doing the distraction finish so there is a finish to the match instead of just having a disqualification.
Yeah.
Because like because if they didn't have like this win loss record thing, I could almost certainly agree that they would have done a disqualification
Oh, yeah.
to protect everyone. And then that's just why I don't like it. It's like whenever I see a distraction finish, I'm always going to think the only reason they're doing this distraction finish is because they want to have a finish for the match and not like do a cop out disqualification. But this kind of like doesn't make it better for me anyway, especially if it's like every single time. Like
It,
it's an MJF's character to cheat. So like I don't mind like a distraction finish where he gets like that cheap win like that because that's like literally his character. But like for Hobbs, like that's not Hobbs' character. Hobbs isn't like a guy that cheats. Like his character is I'm a big powerhouse dude. I'm just gonna beat the crap out of
he
you.
has
Like
willpower.
yes, I guess yes. But yeah, these distraction finishes are a bit too much.
Yeah, they're like a blemish on an overall really good match.
Yeah, and I don't like it. Like look, for me, the point of a distraction is to enhance the match more, but what they do takes away from the match for me.
Yeah.
Like if it's a part of their character, then yes, I do expect some distractions. Like I expect it out of Britt Baker, right? Because she's made that a part of her gimmick, is that she needs distractions to help her win, right? Like they
Yeah.
made it a part of Adam Cole, which I generally don't like because like Adam Cole doesn't need it. But like MJF, like technically speaking, MJF doesn't need it, but like he's made it so an integral part of his character, and it works really well when he does. Like I don't know. It's like they shouldn't do it with everyone. That's basically what I'm saying.
I get that. I agree.
Okay, well, that was Rampage.
tune in next week where we review the next week of Rampage, where hopefully we get a little less outside interference.
Oh, we're probably gonna get it.
Definitely.
Yeah.